Lawrence Roman had to make a few changes to Ira Levin's novel to bring it to the screen. One of them was to eliminate a third kingship sister, Marion. In the novel, Bud not only kills Dory and then courts her sister Ellen, he kills Ellen when she suspects his true motives, which leaves Marion, the youngest kingship heiress, as his only path to the family's fortune. Now, Bud's demise in the book is even hotter than all that Arizona sunshine. He's pursued through the kingship smelting plant and takes a header into a vat of molten copper. Another change involved eliminating a prologue in which Bud faces off with a Japanese soldier during his World War II service in the South Pacific. When Bud gets the drop on his enemy, it fills him with psychotic power. Then he notices that the pleading soldier has wet his pants, and Bud is so disgusted he kills the guy in a savage fury. And it's all a setup for the book's ending, in which, finally cornered by the kingship family, Bud wets his crisp, creased trousers. Humiliated, he hurls himself into the smelter. You were not going to see that on a movie screen in 1956. Virginia Leith survives Robert Wagner's psychopathy in this movie, but she couldn't avoid Darryl Zanuck's acts at 20th Century Fox. She'd made 4 movies for Fox after Zanuck signed her to a contract in 1954. One of those, Violent Saturday, was a 1955 crime melodrama also shot in Arizona. Now, Leith had come to Hollywood from New York, where she'd had a modeling career and a single low-budget feature to her credit, Fear and Desire, Stanley Kubrick's first film. After Fox let her go, Leith worked mostly in television, with the notable exception of the movie she's most famous for, the 1962 abomination, The Brain That Wouldn't Die, in which Leith's head is kept alive after she's decapitated in a car crash. You can probably catch it some night on TCM Underground. Now, Leith, who passed away last November, was the stepmother of writer-director Mary Harron, maker of the cult classics I Shot Andy Warhol and American Psycho. The weakest part of A Kiss Before Dying is the character of Gordon Grant, played by Jeffrey Hunter in full-on Clark Kent mode. Far from being Superman, this character just sort of meanders around the fringes of the story for the sole purpose of having a positive male character to counterbalance Bud's malevolent misogyny. Back in the day, producers always felt it necessary to have a man around to solve the crime, even when it made no sense and the character was shoehorned into the plot. Ellen exposing Bud's evil charade is the only thing that makes dramatic sense. But there had to be another man dutifully by her side at the fade-out to prove that normalcy had been restored. I call these Adam and Eve endings, in which a man and woman must be shown together, preparing, I guess, to repopulate the species. It's the most tired trope in Hollywood. For a first feature, Gert Oswald's direction is deft and stylish, including that long moving camera shot at the beginning, a 3-minute and 26-second take. It's nowhere near as complex as the famous opening shot in Orson Welles' Touch of Evil, but it is 6 seconds longer. It's not like Oswald was a novice behind the camera. He'd been working as an assistant director for almost 20 years in Hollywood, having emigrated from Germany in 1938. He'd been a child actor in his youth, and the business was in his blood. His mother, Käthe Oswald, was an actress, and his father, Richard, been a prolific film director since 1914, running his own production company in Berlin. After arriving in America, father and son worked on several films together in the 1940s. In addition, Gert worked as an assistant director for such Hollywood heavyweights as George Stevens, Billy Wilder, and Joseph Mankiewicz. Oswald carried what was left of the film noir torch in the late 1950s, directing the terrific 1956 Barbara Stanwyck vehicle, Crime of Passion, and 1958's goofy but compelling Screaming Mimi, in which Anita Ekberg is a stripper stalked by a psycho. It was on Crime of Passion that Oswald met Raymond Burr, who was just beginning his run as television's most popular lawyer, Perry Mason. Oswald became one of the show's original directors, and from then on spent most of his career directing episodic television. The few features he made after that ran the gamut, from the excellent 1960 drama Brainwashed to such sincere oddities as 80 Steps to Jonah, a 1969 tearjerker starring Wayne Newton and Mickey Rooney, to atrocious absurdities like the 1966 spy spoof Agent for Harm, which would have finished the career of a less talented director. Maybe TCM Underground can program a double bill of The Brain That Wouldn't Die and Agent for Harm. Okay, next week I'll be back with a fantastic film starring one of Noir's favorite heels, Dan Duryea. It's a minor masterpiece called The Underworld Story, and it's also one of My Little Margie's rare forays into sinister cinema. You diehards, relax. It's in black and white. In the meantime, check in on the Noir Alley Facebook page and Twitter feed and let us know what you thought of A Kiss Before Dying. We'll see you back here next week.